Hello YouTube. We finally got some decent weather here. 3 weeks or so back we had about a 24-inch snowstorm here, but this week is pretty nice. We're 60s, 70s. We're doing pretty well. But I do have a saw that I'm just going to get ready to take apart, and for most of you guys that watch my channel, I mostly do the still chainsaws, and the reason being, I started with an 026 and I used that for a lot of years. I still have the saw, but quite frankly, I ran across a bunch of saws that needed repair from somebody that bought them all. So I probably have 10 or 15 more saws to do. 026s, 260 Pros, 361s, some 10 millimeter 044s, 12 millimeter 044s, 460, 461, and a handful of others. But this saw is going to be a little bit different. I have run HUSQ, but I've only had a couple. Just like the Poolins, I got a couple that were given to me, and you know what, they were the newer ones, and that's why I don't really run them. I realize some of you guys like to goof around with them, but I just had enough. You work on them. I don't have a good place to get parts, so you make a gasket, you figure this out, you figure that out, you finally start pull starting it, then you got to rebuild the starter, the recoil. So pretty much for me, those go right in the dumpster unless it's something pretty decent. But I have had a couple of the Husqvarnas. I think there was a 435 that I had a lot of issues with, and I passed that along to somebody else. I did have a pretty decent 55, saw an older one. Again, I don't know all the numbers. That ended up running pretty decent, but it needed a coil. I swapped that for a pretty decent 044. That and some cash for a real nice 12 millimeter 044. And just one or two other Huskies that I thought were pretty decent. But this is currently, this saw I'm going to show you right now, the only one that I own. Okay, so hang in there. All right, so that's a pretty nice 385. The first saw that I ever got from one of my logger friends sat underneath his bench for quite a long time. Not sure what's wrong with it. I did put a little bit of gas, I squirted it, you know, mix through the carburetor. It did fire, but it seems to flood out. But realistically, I wasn't going to start porting on this saw. It's too nice of a saw. So that's where all those other steel saws come into play. Those are the ones that I goof with. They're my own. I have sold a couple. Occasionally I work on somebody's saw and do a little bit of port work for it, or to them. And anyhow, so this is not the one I'm doing, but sometime this one will be done. So let's go inside and I'll show you which one that I'm going to work on right now. All right, so we get a pretty decent 266 SE, depending on the reflection. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll zoom you right in here. Okay. It's been cleaned up a little bit, but it's pretty much just a pretty decent saw. I don't think it's been used all that much, but it's just been sitting for quite some time. Okay, so the goal on this, or not the goal, but what's really happening here is I'm probably just going to do it. It's not even a stock rebuild. I'm just going to go through, I'm going to vacuum, pressure test everything, going to rebuild the carburetor, any lines, oil lines, fuel lines, crank seals, just going to go right through it. So this hasn't run for quite some time. It's been sitting on the shelf, and the tank was horrible. It was all brown and crusty crap, but that's been cleaned out. And we're just going to get this saw together unless I decide to do a little bit of grinding on it, not much, like open up the exhaust and just a tiny bit of stuff. It's pretty much just going to be a stock rebuild, so the gentleman can cut wood with it, and it'll be dependable for a long time. So that's where I'm at right now. So let's continue to take this thing apart. We'll do some disassembly. So pretty much I'm trying out some different video stuff. So if you see it from the front right here, this angle, it's pretty much my Galaxy S23 Ultra. If you see it from this angle here, this is my GoPro 7 on 2.7K 60 frames per second. And from this angle will be the GoPro 11 2.7K 60 frames per second. The GoPros are in linear mode, and I'll maybe get into this in a little bit. Just something I've been trying to figure out on the GoPro stuff. So that's neither here nor there, more important to me than you, but some of you guys might be interested. But let's go ahead and start pulling this apart. All right, so let's remove the top cover here. Part of the conversation here with myself, anyways, who doesn't talk to themselves? That sounds weird, but that's all right. With the video, I have had some issues using my GoPros and the compatibility with my phone, because when anything in 4K, from what I found, only because I'm doing it, all my editing and stuff and videos on my phone, it's non-compatible, or it says corrupt video files. So through trial and error, because I'm not really tech savvy, I did figure out that the 2.7 video would work, and so that's what I'm doing right now. Another thing to let you know, I did do a compression test on this. Now, a little bit of oil has been dumped in this cylinder, a tiny bit, so I really can't trust that. It was 180. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother with that. Just want to let you know, when I pull the cylinder off, I'll check my end gap and all that stuff on the rings, and I'll determine, further on what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and continue with the disassembly. All right. So the reason being, the reasoning behind why I'm describing the GoPro 7 and GoPro 11 in my phone, guess there's really no reasoning with myself to figure this out, is I have done a bunch of 4K video, not a bunch, but I have learned that is non-compatible with my phone. Probably be fine on a laptop or a computer meant to do this, but I have had not a lot, but a little bit of video stuff that I did, some footage that I can't do anything with. So I did experiment the other night with some 2.7, and it seems to work. So that's all. It's more for me, but you guys might be interested in it. And so anyway, so that's about it. So basically, I am waiting for the oil line from the dealer. He has the crank seals. I don't think there's an O-ring around your oil pump or whatever. We'll get into that later on. Again, not super familiar with that, but the goal is just to take this thing apart, see what's what with the carb kit, gaskets, make sure the gaskets fit. Okay, the gaskets that I got, I should have had a little bit of a set of pliers, hopefully. Okay, there we go. Okay, we'll take this off. And I'll do the compression test on it. Well, I actually did a compression test on it already, and unfortunately a little bit of oil has been dumped in the cylinder, so I don't trust it. It's pretty high. It's 180. It's probably not too bad, but I really don't know until I get it apart and look at the end gap on the rings and the condition of the cylinder, you know, maybe I will do a ring or rings. I don't know what this has. Some are single, some are double. Okay, so we got the right gasket there. Just the dealer wasn't sure. Some of these gaskets vary. They don't offer them in kits anymore. And I guess some of the gaskets themselves vary. They fit multiple saws, but they don't fit some saws. So that particular one, the carb to the intake spacer, whatever you want to call it, that seems to fit. Okay, we'll check this other one out. And I do have some block off plates. Hopefully some are similar. I have worked on a few, not a lot. Sorry if I'm blocking the way right here. Okay, probably am. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, I don't know what that is. That was right there. One thing that the dealer told me, this fuel line right here, he doesn't think that's a normal fuel line. He believes it is a rubber fuel line complete from the carb all the way down. I do have that. Let's check this other gasket out here for your, I guess, intake. Well, if you do, hold on, check this out. Okay, so we do have a correct gasket, so we're good there. And let's flip this around and get to the exhaust. Okay, we get you pointed up toward the sky here. These have been soaked, and I have loosened them for the video. I know they come off, but hey, you know what? You guys probably didn't want to sit here and watch anybody deal with all this, taking this stuff off. Anyways, let's see here. I just don't want to BS you and think that, oh, this is how this all comes apart, man. Just super easy. So you know what? Working on anything isn't easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? Now I'm not sure what's inside here for the muffler. I don't know if I'll do a little bit of a muffler mod. I don't know. Never had one of these apart. Okay. Well, I guess it's not too bad. A lot of space in there, you know what I mean? So it can breathe. And don't look too bad. Okay, I don't know if you can see in here. What do we got in here? A little oily. Let's zoom in here. Now, I don't even know. I guess they say some saws have 2 rings, some have 1 ring. I don't really know. Well, I got it down in the wrong position here. But let's stop back in a few minutes and I'll get this readjusted for you. All right, so let's give this a try here. We'll pull the plug out. Okay, we'll try and get a look inside the cylinder here on the exhaust. I don't know if I'm set up here quite well, but we'll take a look at this if we can. Okay, this ain't working. Hold on, let me adjust it here. We'll come down a little bit, we'll do this. Okay, hang in there. Bear with me. See what we got. Looks like one ring. Okay. We have to switch it up another time unless I can get you in there to look, see what that cylinder looks like. You know what? We'll save that for another time. All right, let's take these studs out of here. Okay, and when we pressure test this whole thing before I take it apart, even though I'm going to do a base gasket and everything, at least that may tell you if your crankcase gasket is leaking. Probably not going to happen, but you know what? It's always nice just to know where you're at, where you started. All right, let me see here. Here we go. Come on now. I got a couple of these different ones, but this one fits. Some of these block-off plates fit, you know, different saws, whether it is steel or the few HUSQs that I've done. I do have some. This one works out well. Okay. All right, so I am going to use the factory hardware to install this block-off plate. Okay, so if any of you guys are interested to know how to do just a simple block-off plate or something, you don't know how to do it or where to start, don't be afraid. Just comment on the video. I'll do a video if you want to. Most people know how to do this, but this channel is about, you know, helping people and showing people that you can do things too. You know, I'm no expert on this. I just learned on my own. I do have a mechanical background, but that's about it. It's for everybody. Okay, and again, if I can touch on the GoPro stuff, it's all about just having fun. And the GoPro stuff's cool because you can do stuff outside, and it doesn't matter. You can, you know, go underwater with them, all kinds of stuff. It's just fun. You can't do that with your phone, but that's about it. So, all right, so we got our plug installed. Plugs installed. We have, obviously, you have seen the exhaust plate, the block off. Plastic nipple. I do have some brass ones coming, but that's what I got. It's fine, but as you keep using them, eventually you're going to break it. Okay, so I do have to tap the back of the GoPro here to see what I'm looking at. Hopefully this is zoomed in enough and no reflection. So we're going to go for about 8 pounds. Let me make sure this is good. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Nice Jake brake going down the highway there. If you can hear that. Well, that's a little over 9. Okay. We're holding, if you can see that. So rotate your crankshaft. You know, it'll go up. Okay, and this really doesn't mean anything because I'm doing the crank seals anyways. They're that old. Just again, all the lines and everything, this will be a dependable saw when it's done. This looks good. I'll check the bearings after, but always do, that's pressure. Let's do a vacuum. Some inches of, I don't know, inches of mercury, I guess they call it. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. So no, it's looking pretty good. Okay, sometimes when you move this, you will see that gauge. Oh yeah, there we go. See that? See that gauge goes up and down? See that? Perfectly normal. All right, so here's where we're at. Thank you guys for hanging in there, listening to my GoPro video stuff. It's important to me to figure this stuff out. You know what? If any of you guys have comments on that stuff using your GoPro for video, I appreciate that. But we'll continue. Next time we'll pull the cylinder off and we'll look at the condition of the rings and the cylinder, and that's where we're at. So again, I appreciate you guys watching, and keep an eye out for the next video. Thanks a lot.